Hello everyone and welcome back to my Bold and Beautiful 29 YouTube channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Dylan to confess to Finn. Bill tries to get Katie to leave Forrester Creations. The raw internee Luna was trying to avoid getting caught by the Bobbies. The girl tried to hide and soon, she set up herself girdled. Also, Luna made a run for it, only to be hit by a auto. Chief Bradley, the motorist, is a riddle. Still, Dylan said else to Elektra. When Dylan came to see Elektra at Forrester Creations, she claimed the Bobbies knew everything. Baker said was different, so I'm wondering who's telling the verity and who's lying. Dylan is really freaked out over killing someone, indeed if it was Luna. Part of what might be freaking Dylan out is that people might suppose it was purposeful. Dylan was affected by Luna, too. The art school teacher was tied up and thrown into a closet while Luna refocused a gun at Steffi. Dylan goes to face Steffi and Finn. The girl is blubbing and apologizing for taking the life of Finn's son. I could see both of them cheering Dylan that it was an accident, however. With how important Dylan is freaking out and blubbing. Is she going to have an internal health break? Also Bill, who has a wild idea for Katie. The man wants the love of his life to come to Spencer Publications. It seems that Bill also wants Will there. So, what will Katie and Will decide? Still, what does that mean for Elektra? While numerous couples work at different places, detergents are a bit different if Katie and Will decide to leave FC. Elektra that she was the bone who ran over Luna. She feels guilt for what happened. She hiding a dark side that her friend is ignorant of. Dylan was Hayes' art school teacher. She inaptly hired Luna, who used the alias Miss Sunshine. She had no idea that Luna was a cold thoroughbred killer who was pardoned from captivity and wanted to kill Steffi. Dylan snappily learned from her miscalculations. She shocked Elektra at Forrester Creations. She talked about the times when they would have coffee when Elektra would drop off Hayes. But Dylan was ent there to memorize. She had to confess commodity important. She told Elektra she was the person who ran over Luna the night she failed. Elektra promised Dylan that they would keep this secret to themselves. Dylan claims to have guilt over her conduct. Elektra assured her that it was just an accident and she didn't know it was Luna. But what if she actually knew who she was running down? She's giving off some shady vibes. First, she texted Elektra from an unknown number. What kind of friend does that? Dylan should have informed Elektra that she changed her number and had commodity important to tell her in person. Maybe Dylan is another friend in Elektra's life who has come hung up with her. When Remy first joined the cleaner, he was so hung up with being with Elektra that he'd a room devoted to her. He'd produce raw deep fakes of her whenever he felt rejected. Dylan could come hung up with Elektra and begrudge her life. She could inherit Luna's psychotic tendencies. Dylan formally informed the authorities. At least that's what she claims. Elektra is the only bone who knows her secret. They supposed to offer angst for Elektra and Will? Elektra might keep this secret from Will, who'll be upset with her for not passing in him. He's trying to be a better man after not telling Elektra the verity about what happened that night with Luna. Ridge arrived at the Cliff House for Thanksgiving. He wanted to celebrate the vacation with his family despite being married to Brooke. Steffi and Finn hosted Thanksgiving regale at the Cliff House. They started cooking in the kitchen with Taylor, Kelly, and Hayes. Taylor loved the idea of wearing matching aprons, which was Kelly's idea. Meanwhile, they're cooking the topmost feasts to beat all feasts. Kelly wanted to make sure everything tasted succulent. Ridge showed up with a bouquet in hand. The kiddies were thrilled to see him and asked if he was staying. He assured them that he was spending Thanksgiving with his family as he gave the flowers to Taylor. It's a time to be thankful. The Forresters went through a lot with their fashion house and with Luna. They got their company back, and Luna has been declared dead. She got hit by an auto while she approached a moving vehicle. The Forresters gathered around the table and participated what they were thankful for. Steffi was emotional because of all they went through and crushed. But she was particularly surprised to see her pater at the regale table. She didn't anticipate this to be. It was Aunt Thomas who showed up to regale. Ridge didn't celebrate the vacation with Brooke but rather with Isaac's wife, Taylor, and their family. He said he considered them family, not the Logans. Arguably, Ridge did say he'd a Thanksgiving lunch with Eric, Donna, and Brooke, but he still had room for further food. He also had room in his heart for another woman. Formerly again, Ridge toyed with Taylor's passions. It didn't take long for him to feed her respects. He also said there was no other place he'd rather be than with Isaac's wife. He's giving mixed dispatches again, which is confusing for Steffi and Taylor. Steffi looked at her parents with a big smile on her face. She knew that her pater still loved Taylor. Does this mean that Ridge will spend Christmas with Brooke? Before this time, she claimed that she'd have Ridge back by the leaves. But it's not looking too good for the couple. Electra gets a surprise visit from Dylan. She had Commodity to confess about the night that Luna failed. Will and Electra wanted to get back to work. They wanted to keep their minds on Commodity differently rather than Luna's crimes and death. Still, they were still complexed by the textbook communication from the motorist who had run over Luna. The last thing that Electra demanded was someone differently draining her. Will advised her to keep it out of her mind since the police supposed it an accident. Electra told Will that she'd heed his advice. Will left the office to attend to other tasks. Dylan intruded Electra while she was working. Electra was rapturous to see her old friend again. She wanted to know what brought her to Forrester. Dylan tried to candy her up with a coffee. She recalled the old times when they would meet up for coffee. Electra told Dylan that she's formerly had a bad day. But she's happy to know that Luna is out of their lives. Dylan looked like Commodity was eating down at her. She told Electra that she got a new phone number. She apologized for not reaching out sooner. Electra was in admiration over Dylan changing her life around and fastening on herself. Luna manipulated Dylan and made her suppose she was an origami schoolteacher named Miss Sunshine. Dylan can't imagine what would have happened if Luna had killed Steffi. She jounced at the study. But what she demanded right now is a friend. Electra could tell Commodity was wrong with her friend. Still, Dylan claimed she turned a new splint by living a peaceful life and working with children. Dylan didn't want Electra to suppose else of her after this. She explained that she was driving along the sand the other night. Out of nowhere, someone ran into the road. Dylan admitted that it was an accident. The police formerly knew. She spoke with them formerly. Electra was in shock as she asked, "You ran over Luna?" Also, she assured Dylan that they would take on this burden together. Sicky Luna will do everything in her power to get out of jail. She's arranged 2 beatings which got her absolutely nowhere, so now it's time for the big move, a captivity break. Spoilers indicate that Electra is Luna's first adversary to exclude. She's with Luna's baby daddy Will and they're now keeping house together on the sand. Electra is stealing Luna's place. But if she can't get relief of Electra, the coming stylish thing would be to abduct Will and brainwash him until he falls in love with her. Luna may need a mate to get her business done. Who in the world would help her at this point? Her greedy, grifting mama, Poppy, that's who. Poppy was impressed that Luna had the sense to get pregnant by a walking trust fund, so she may help if the price is right. Sheila may get a call, but her help isn't guaranteed given that her marriage is on the line. Cleric has a zero forbearance policy where Luna is concerned and Sheila knows that. Sheila may suppose she's smart enough to outsmart Cleric, which if he set up out would shoot him straight into the arms of world-famed philanthropist/psychiatrist Taylor, leading to pails of drama. Which brings us back to the morning, Electra, the one source of Luna's problems. Let's face it, we're smack dab in the middle of November reaches and the show needs to bring the fire to contend with its CBS rivals, The Young and the Restless and Beyond the Gates. Luna goes after Electra and effects go too far.